Hey YouTube, what's going on? This is Cheeseboy628 here today giving you week 1 of season 5 of the NPL. So, for those who are new, welcome. The NPL stands for National Pokeball League, and I hope you enjoy your ride as I, Cheeseboy628, decide to take you on said ride. Okay, this is going to be pretty jammin'. For those who don't know, and plus you're going to see these scores here, and you're going to be like, Cheese, what's going on here? I don't understand. Well, for those people, I say shut up for like 3 seconds and I'll explain. Okay, so going on here, the NPL, as well as everyone that has draft style leagues, is where there are a series of teams and you pick what seed you are, and what seed determines what order you pick your Pokemon in. So for me, for example, if you go from left to right, I am seed 7. So therefore I have the 7th pick for the first pick. And then since there are 16 teams, I'm the 9th pick on the way back. So we usually have 12 teams. Now we have 16. So that also makes logistics potentially a little bit different this year. Usually season. Oh my gosh, I always mix season and year up. Okay. So anyway, going on here. So usually we have like 6 teams that make it of the 12, I believe, that make it into tournament bracket to compete for the championship. But this year season, we might do 8. I'm not exactly sure how the logistics of that are going to go. But we have 4 new teams. And by 4 new teams, I mean 4 added teams from 12 to 16 that I think is going to make this pretty cool. We also changed the way that we draft mons. As you can tell by the numbers, you're like, what are these numbers? Well, these numbers determine, it's a point-based system. So what happens is each mon, which as you can see in the parentheses, has a point-based, has a series of number of points based on their value. So you start with 125 and then you pick mons until you basically run out, while also having to go in order. So it's a pretty complex and really cool system. So while it does say I have 1 point left, I actually did run out by picking FanP at the end. And we'll talk about FanP when I use FanP, but also you may see the orange and you're like, what? How could that be your last pick? It's so good. Well, you can franchise a mon, and that mon comes from the last season of the league you were in, and you are allowed to make it your last pick in exchange for making it 1.4 times the amount of points that it would otherwise be. So while Latios is expensive with all of that math factored in, I thought it was good to keep it up. So yeah, we have a bunch of really good mons, and yeah, we are going into week 1 here. Week 1 is actually versus the Arizona Carvanhas, so it's very convenient that I have this layout here. Usually, I might as well explain this. I usually have live recordings of this stuff, but I'm not exactly sure where that is. So I thought I'm just going to start fresh, just give you the live stuff of what's going on here. It'll be shorter that way, and you can tell me what you think of that versus wanting to see live stuff. So deliberately let me know. Let me know if you want to see live stuff from here. It will be longer. I'm going to give you that caveat right there. But yeah, just let me know, and then I know how I want to record the rest of my stuff. And if you want to see team building stuff in a separate video, so that way you have 2 videos and they're each shorter as opposed to like a 40-50 minute video. But anyway, going into this, like I said, I did have a live recording, but I no longer do. So because of that, the battle did already happen, so I'm just going to explain what I did in regards to team building, and then we'll just get into the battle. So what I did was I picked Mega Blastoise. I just gave it pretty standard stuff. I even gave it Water Pulse over Scald. But yeah, max HP, max attack, and just ready to do some damage. I thought that it matched up against his team pretty well. There's a spoiler alert for all y'all. Yeah, I just thought its coverage was really good for his whole team, and I'm not wrong about that. You take Water Pulse, you take Ice Beam, and you take Aura Sphere, nothing comes in for free with that kind of risk. So keep that in mind. Then we got Dougie. I did make it Sash. Here's the thing, I was really paranoid about Breloom, so I brought a bunch of stuff that handles Breloom. I even brought Sleep Talk Klefki with, didn't give it Rocky Helmet, but I did give it Sleep Talk to take the Spore and then be like, okay, priority Sleep Talk, Dazzling Gleam, or Thunder Wave, or Spikes, anything. So it would have been really good, and I was just really worried about it for whatever reason. So that's why I have Aerial Ace here over Stone Edge, and that's going to kind of come into play. I'll explain in a bit. But yeah, I did give it Sash because I didn't think Banded was that helpful, and plus the idea of Stone Edge could scare out his his Togekiss for sure. By the way, I think I mentioned that I'm facing Togavor. I think he's the coach of the Arizona Carvanhas. Definitely check him out. Link in the description. Such and such. Good man. Good man. Also, I made it adamant because Jirachi, even Jolly, won't be able to outspeed me unless he's Scarf, of course. But then that obviously doesn't matter. Then I made Scarf T-Tar because that with adamant it is enough to outspeed a max speed Jolly Jirachi. So I'm like, why not? Let's make it adamant. Give it pretty normal moves. Yeah, so I made Kyurem as AV, mixed attacker. This will kind of come into play with the item AV, as I'll explain in the battle later. And then I got Klefki, which is specially defensive. We got a little bit of attack investment as well, but that kind of comes into play. And I'll explain that when we get there. But yeah, I also have a little bit of defense investment. It's just bulky all around. And then finally, you can't see it, but I have Talonflame. It says I have Ganlanberry. I don't think I had Ganlanberry at the time. No. Ganlanberry makes an ice type move with Natural Gift, but I don't think I had that at the time. I think I had Roost and then these 3 attacks and then Sharp Beak. I was just doing this because I was thinking about a battle afterwards if I was to ever face him. But with enough potential spoilers out of the way, let's just get into this. The music needs to be clicked off, and here we go. So I brought these mons, as you just saw, and he comes with this stuff. So I'm like, okay, I knew that Jirachi was going to be something. But yeah, Jirachi's honestly my biggest worry. He didn't bring Breloom. I had plenty of counters to Breloom overall with any kind of sets. Garchomp's just a bulky mofo, so I'm going to be a little scared about that. I'm also going to have to worry about how to take out Snorlax. Yeah, other than that, it's kind of stuff that's... I mean, I don't think they're going to have any crazy sets that I'm not expecting. Also, I just thought of how you're going to see the layout. Pretty sweet layout with a thumbnail. So let me know what you guys think of that. That's going to be happening each week. There may or may not be a face cam template if I want to use that. So I just thought I'd put that in there. Anyway, let's just get into this freaking battle. It's been 7.5 minutes of me yammering. So here we go. We're pressing play. He goes for Snorlax. I bring in Blastoise. I'd also like to mention that I saw Togavor's analysis of this battle a little bit before I'm doing this myself, so I thought, hey, just another reason to do this post battle, because that way I can talk about his commentary too. So he was saying he's going to switch out here because he's like, Snorlax is a good matchup against most of my team, but Blastoise was a little scary to him. Well, I mean, Snorlax is naturally especially defensive, so I'm like, oh, let's just hit it with an Aura Sphere. But he makes a good play. He goes into Toge, and I call him Toge because I'm scared that I'm going to mix Togekiss and Togavor up. Oh my lord. Anyway, so I don't want to get T-Waved. I don't want to get Air Slashed. I know what Togekiss does, even though I was honestly not that spammy as he was accusing me of. I'm just saying. Anyway, I bring in Klefki. I get T-Wave because what else is new? Here's the thing. I'm like, this Garchomp about to come in. Okay? I knew this Garchomp was going to come in. So I pressed the dazzle button, and I'm about to dazzle all over him, right? No, I get the T-Wave button, and it's just, okay? I'm upset. Not gonna lie, I was kind of upset mostly because I made a play, and then Hacks just refused to let me continue on with my ideology that I'm amazing. So unfortunately, I'm not able to take him out, or not even take him out, but do some damage. I'm not going to reveal his set particularly yet, but it would have done notable damage because Stab's super effective just alone like that. So okay, I'll say this. It wasn't going to 2-hit KO, but it was going to be nice damage and make me think, okay, I'm in an okay position. Anyway, I don't know that yet though, so I'm just going to go in here to be like, okay, he's going to get up rocks. If so, I can spin. Well, I don't know necessarily what he's going to do yet. I'm picking the middleman play here. He could be scared of Ice Beam, so I just go for Water Pulse because nothing wants to take a Water Pulse other than Blastoise, but why is Blastoise coming in? So, Water Pulse does a decent amount of damage to this Togekiss. I don't know what this Togekiss is going to do here. He ends up roosting, but like, I'm like, what if he tries T-waving me to like end my life and I just go for Ice Beam, you know? So now I'm like, okay, well, I might as well spin. but he presses the hacks button and he crit flinches me. So I'm like, ow. Like, what do I do? I'm at 60% now, and I couldn't do anything about that. So I switch out to Clef now, because I'm like, well, I guess I'll try to take a hit. Plus, it was to gauge, like, how much speed he has, if he necessarily does have speed. I don't think I put any speed on mine, but they have matching speed tiers. So going to Clef. Of course, he misses Air Slash now. The one time it doesn't matter. Ugh, upsetting. So now I go for the Dazzle button in case he goes into a Garchomp. But yeah, then I'm like, oh, well, T-Wave you. You can hacks me, I'll hacks you back. But no, he has the anti-hacks button, and he presses EQ. So this puts me in a situation. Okay, do I T-Wave him in potential for hacks, or do I just get up a spike and call it a day? Well, I do neither of those, because I go into Blastoise, and I'm like, okay, I can take a hit. So I still don't know what set this Garchomp is. If it's Rocky Helmet, I can't press Rapid Spin here, because then I'll die to recoil. However, he could also potentially be scared of the Ice Beam, because I did reveal that. So I end up pressing Rapid Spin, getting rid of those hazards, and I die to Body Slam. So yeah, I get to bring in Kyurem here. He doesn't know what kind of Kyurem this is yet. And well, even at this point, if I got a physical Kyurem, Snorlax should not be staying in. So I imagine maybe he'd try to go Jirachi. I don't find Jirachi to really be a win condition here. I just know it's going to take hits, so it should take hits, no? So that's why I press the Earth Power, and I get a Spadef drop, and that's cool and all, but he doesn't go to Jirachi, so he just gets a Body Slam on me, and I'm like, well, F. I go for Dragon Claw here, and it's a solid 2 KO from this range. He gets a nice, hefty crit on me. It was just very unfortunate, I'd like to say. And he says it doesn't matter. He doesn't know I'm Assault Vest, and you'll see why this does matter later. Because without a crit, it would be 30%, and therefore I would be at like 43. Yeah. Oh, that is definitely big. You'll see later. So, but either way, I'm able to press Dragon Claw and take him out and call it a day. He goes to Garchomp, and I'm like, well, I'm not staying in here. I picked the middleman play of just sacking Klefki, because like, if I go into Talonflame and he ends up having to move for Talonflame dies, and I'm like, boo Talonflame. And then I'm like, I still have a dumb Klefki in that case. If he does decide to go for rocks, sucks for me, but then I can like lay up a spike at least with Klefki, and then go goodbye, and then pick something else to go into. But I don't know. I feel like he should have went for rocks, in my humble opinion. But either way, he decides to take out Klefki. So I go in Talonflame here. I was honestly hoping that he'd expect me to have the Ganlan Berry set like I was saying, and that way I would just go for Brave Bird. But either way, he does not anticipate such, and he presses the Rock Slide button. Unfortunately for him, he does miss, and to his argument, he does say that like this evens up with the Paralyze that I got on my Klefki. I'm gonna say sure, fine, we'll go with that. Sure, I agree to that. However, that other hacks with the Blastoise, that's just uncalled for, my friend. He goes for the Rock Slide. This time he hits, and I go goodbye. Well, now that I'm dead, I might as well just trap this Garchomp, no longer deal with its shenanigans, and I don't want any rocks up, so he goes goodbye. I bring in Kyurem now because here's the thing. Because as I was telling you earlier, like, oh, Kyurem matters about HP. Well, this is the situation I pick because of the HP I'm at. At the same time, even with the Scald damage, this is still not enough for me to be in a range that's particularly in Toge's favor later in the game. But hopefully that wasn't too confusing. But either way, I just get to press Fusion Bolt button here, and it's a solid 2 KO. He goes for Roar. So now I'm like, oh shoot. Okay, here's the thing. He has 4 Mons at this point. I have dual stab of Rock and Dark. Okay. If he goes Jirachi and I press Stone Edge, his Jirachi is gonna eat no matter what. If I go for Crunch, he's gonna take a ton, and then he'll be in a precarious position, and maybe I'll be able to go off 50-50. Either way, I go for Crunch here. Does a nice bit of damage, but that number 1 puts him in Torrent range. Number 2, it doesn't kill him. If I went for Stone Edge, I imagine I had a chance to kill him at the very least. So either way, I get to Crunch again, and he goes goodbye. He brings in Togekiss now. I bring in the Dougie. He goes for Dazzle. He gets a crit. doesn't particularly matter, but does bring me down to my sash nonetheless. I go for rocks here because I'm like, well, if he's going to bring in Pidgeot or Togekiss ever again, he's going to have to deal with rocks. He says he disagrees with that play. I say I didn't have Stone Edge and he didn't realize that. So here's the 50-50. In my opinion, it was a 50-50, but he said he knew I wasn't going to go for Crunch because of the situation with Togekiss and Pidgeot, but I don't know. I personally still think it was a 50-50. But either way, go for the Stone Edge, get a little bit of damage off, and this is kind of where things are definitely wrapping up here. The one situation is, basically bottom line is I need to somehow be in a position where I can come in for free with T-Tar, that I can spam Stone Edge for the win, basically. However, I switch out basically at this point hoping that Kyurem dies, like he goes for Iron Head. That's kind of my big hope here, because that way he goes for Iron Head, trap with Dougie, and then Stone Edge, which they'll definitely die to after Rock's damage, so that's why I was accounting for that. But he decides to U-turn, which for sure was his most optimal play, and then I end up not dying to Sand, so therefore I can't even come in with T-Tar to try Stone Edging and killing for the win. So this is where it mattered regarding the Kyurem Black not having enough health. If I was at that 43%, being Assault Vest especially, I would have lived any Hurricane and then Ice Beam. Even if I took that 8% from Scald, Hurricane does 29 to 35, so it would have been a high roll if he was able to kill me with Hurricane. So I think that's definitely something worth factoring in, as that was due to the Body Slam crit from his Snorlax. So it was that plus the crit flinch with Blastoise. That's like not exactly the greatest situation. Nonetheless, the game is the game. I am going to say certain things mattered because certain things, number one, affect your choices, because it's like, shoot, I have no momentum, and at the same time it just kills your mons, and so anyway, no matter what Scarf set I am, I wouldn't be able to take him out. But yeah, he does have the HP fighting, which is going to take me out for the 3-0 victory in his favor. So by no means am I salty at this point. Like, it has been a couple weeks since we've had this battle. At the time I was kind of like, well, shoot, I suck again. But yeah, I'd say the reason it also has been a couple weeks is because we were waiting for the graphics that you're seeing today, and so now we're just publishing with full authenticity, full officiality. So other than that, yeah, I had 2 weeks to cool off, and then that way, while my fans are trying to interrupt me talking. Anyway, so yeah, it's been 2 weeks because of that, so that way I was able to cool off and just be like, well, this seems to happen every season. Honestly, it does, because like I'm usually not like used to teams at this point, because that way I get to see people's battling style, I get to see what kind of sets people use, and then kind of go off of that. And so after week 1, then I start gaining ground. So that's kind of the sitch, and we're hoping that that is going to be something helpful. Week 2 actually already happened also, but now we're catching up with things, and so things should be pretty much up to date as soon as I upload. So yeah, this is actually the upload day that I'm doing it of, Sunday the 26th. So hope y'all enjoy. Give me some tips. Hopefully I'll upload some other stuff as well. It is summer, baby. And yeah, thanks guys. Like, comment, sub, until later. Peace.